Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about how to start a college conversation with your family. And I'm going to begin today's hangout with a quote by Albert Einstein that says, "We are what we repeatedly do." And this is a great quote because every day we have conversations with people who are in our lives, and do we take that opportunity to help people understand us, who we are, and where we're going and what we want to do with our life. And so a lot of times having a conversation about your career goals or your colleges that you want to apply to or where you want to attend might sometimes be difficult or challenging for people to talk about because they're not a conversation that a lot of people have on an ongoing basis. A lot of people tend to think of we're going to have a conversation one time, especially during the holidays when you're with family or at events and people are like, oh, how are you doing? Where are you going? You're in high school and senior right now, or, are you thinking about going back to school, or where are you going to go? What are you going to do? So we tend to sometimes get a little flustered by these conversations because we think we have to have all the answers at one time when we don't. And the idea is you want to have an ongoing conversation with people because sometimes they might ask a really good question. You might be like, let me get back to you on that. So, in order to get the ball rolling, so to speak, a great question to ask to help the conversation get started is, why do you want this career? And, people have different reasons for wanting to start a career. Sometimes it's, you think it might be interesting. Sometimes it might be something that you have a hobby that you think you'd be really good at making money at. There's all kinds of really good reasons why people start a career. I found it very inspiring to talk to chiropractors because a lot of them have discovered that because they were in a car accident, they were injured, they needed help in feeling better, and by going to a chiropractor and seeing the benefits that it provided, they decided that that's what they wanted to do. So when you start discussing your career and why you want to go in that direction, it's a good conversation starter, but it also helps other people understand who you are and why you pick that area, especially if it's something that you've been dabbling in for an area and you're really good at or you have a good start. The other thing is another great question to ask to get started is, why do you want to attend this particular college? And a lot of time colleges have different types of programs that are really good. And one of the challenges a lot of students that I coach say is, I want to go to this college, this particular one, but my parents don't support me because they say it's too much money. And there might be a lot of information that the parents don't know, or the parents might be assuming that you want to go there because it's a party school or because it's in a nice location or you took a tour and you really liked what you saw. But there could be other things that they don't know, such as maybe how prestigious that program is or that particular college. And by discussing more about the school and what you like about it, it helps them understand your perspective as to why you want to go there. Maybe it has some really great opportunities to network with other people. Maybe that school has alumni from people who graduated that come back and give really good commencement speeches and help articulate to the other classes that are going to be graduating and giving them some career advice from someone who's been there and have done that successfully. And the reason you want to talk about these things is because it helps you take the conversation in a positive direction. So take the conversation in a positive direction. And a lot of times it's really hard to have any direction in a conversation if there is no conversation that's happening. So get started by asking a lot of questions and listening. And a lot of times the tendency for people is to just kind of shut down because they're afraid people are going to say, oh, that's not realistic, or I don't think you can really do that, or maybe there's not a job opportunity when you graduate. Realistically, how likely are you to get hired, or how much money you're going to make? A lot of these are objections that stop conversations from happening. But if you just begin a conversation is, this is what I'm interested in, or this is what I like about it, then it's harder for people to shut you down because you're not saying, I'm going to this college and I'm going to major in this. You're saying, this is what I like and why I'm interested in it. And it takes a conversation from, no, you can't do it, to, maybe we can figure out some ways that this can be possible. And in that, you need to have an open dialogue, because people might be giving you feedback that are legitimate concerns, but then it'll help you understand what other research or information you need to find to continue to have that conversation going forward. And so a lot of times, if you're not sure what you want to do, or why, you need some clarity around the situation, a great resource is to go and look up to other people who are successful. Get guidance from people who are successful. And the reason being is you can use their story when you're having a conversation. So let's say, for example, that you're interested in the arts and perhaps you want to either become a film director or a screenwriter or an actor. Maybe it's something you took classes in high school that you really enjoyed, or you practiced writing some scripts, or you've done other things. So when you have a conversation with people, you can tell them, I really admire what, Steven Spielberg has done in some of his movies. I grew up watching the movies Jurassic Park, and I really like, and then list it out. And then you can talk about his career. And that helps people, your friends and your family and other people that you're talking to, realize, wow, this person's really serious about this career because they're thinking about it. They know about it. And what's really helpful is when you start talking about current news and what's going on. So the other day I just watched a video on YouTube about a commencement speech. I believe it was from Jennifer Lee, who was a screenwriter for the Disney movie Frozen, which is the first animated film to make $1 billion. So, if that movie's out right now, you can talk about that. Like, I really saw this movie, I really enjoyed it, and I did some research online to find out about the person who screenwrote it. And, she went to the school and she came back and she gave a commencement speech at graduation. And she's an alumni there. And she talked about what school she went to and her career path. And it helps make it real for other people, because when you talk to them about your dreams and goals, they might feel like, oh, it's this airy-fairy idea that's out there. But when you start talking about real people that they see in the news and movies that are out and things that are going on, then it makes it easier for people to see that, hey, this is a real career where people are making real money, and you can have a very successful career. And it helps take that conversation pressure off of you from having to know everything, because then you can always refer back to someone else who is successful and say, well, this is what they did. I wonder if I can do it. Or I wonder how they did it. Or, maybe I should check out the schools they're interested in, or what did they do, to position themselves to be successful. Maybe they did a lot of networking. Maybe they did other things. And so it's a great conversation, because then people have feedback and they can talk about, oh yeah, well, I've heard of that person, or oh yeah, I saw that YouTube video too. And it creates a dialogue, and that's what you want. You want an ongoing conversation that can happen over time, because then again, when you get together with friends and family, it gives you something to talk about, but also it helps you guide the conversation, because you can discuss different issues over time about, well, where you want to go, why do you want to go there, hey, last time I asked you about this, did you do any more research about that? And it's a way to build your credibility, because when you come back and you research it, you might discover things that you didn't know that could also be more persuasive in advising other people about what you want to do. And it helps them see that you're serious, and it's always easier to support someone who's serious, who's done the research. So definitely, I encourage you to have a conversation with everybody, your friends, your family, your spouse, whether it's you who's going to college or whether you're encouraging someone else to go to college. The best thing to do is have a conversation. Help other people understand where you are, or help that other person understand where they are. And this way, if they're open to having a conversation with you, they're probably also going to be more open to the advice that you give them about going to college as well. So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it, and please stay tuned to see some future videos where we will talk about these subjects in much deeper detail. I will see you soon.